First up, we attached a board to the back wall, making sure it hit all the studs with the screws. This will act as the primary support for the back of the workbench. We marked the wall as to what height we want the tabletop to be at, subtracted the thickness of the top, and then we got our height for this backboard. We wanted the tabletop height to be about 36 inches. From there we started adding some horizontal table supports along with some legs. We came off the wall, making sure to stay level, adding the first part of the leg, then adding a secondary board to better support the top itself. We just used nails and screws to attach these together. You can also use glue if you have that laying around. Make sure all your legs are square to the ground, that way they all sit flat on the floor. Even the single 2x3 could easily hold our weight. We ended up adding a board underneath the backboard to help hold some of the weight of the crossbeams we're about to add. This way we aren't only relying on our terrible toenails to hold. Putting up the next crossboard, you can see that the boards underneath will be holding a majority of the weight once the front legs are added. This post will be one of our primary supports before an open stretch underneath the table, so we added 3 boards all sandwiched together, making the table a little bit more robust. We then continued to add posts under the crossboards and then added a few extra crossboards so that the tabletop is supported at more points and doesn't sag anywhere when force is applied. I don't recommend balancing the tripod on the same surface you're hammering on. Good thing it's a GoPro. With the whole tabletop complete, we ended up with a working area of 30 inches deep by 92 inches long, plus this little corner piece getting us to about 109 inches. Next up, we added some shelving to a couple spots. We supported the crossboards with some small 2x4 blocks screwed into the posts and wall. In total, we added 3 lower shelves, topped them off with 1/2-inch plywood. For the bottom shelf, I cut out a notch to make the shelf a little bit lower, but still be able to sit on that back support board. Adding the square boards underneath also allowed us to not really worry about how we attach that board to the wall, since that square 2x4 was absorbing most of the load. Next up is the tabletop itself. You can usually cut large sheet goods by placing them on the ground on top of some old 2x4s. This prevents the blades from hitting the ground. Then use a different board to create a straight edge to run the circular saw against. Just make sure you clamp down the straight edge or have someone hold it for you. For our tabletop, we ended up using standard 3/4 inch plywood. Before placing the tabletop down, we drilled pocket holes in all the 2x4s underneath. This was a bit of a pain to do, but well worth it, because there were no screw holes at all on the top of the workbench. I added a link to a basic pocket hole tool below the like button if you're interested in picking one up. Once we sanded the tabletop down, we sealed it with an oil-based armor seal, also linked below. This makes the working surface a lot more robust and prevents wood discoloration if you're using chemicals or anything like that on the wood top.
So we're going for something super basic here. It's literally just going to be a triangle underneath where our shelf will sit. So our shelf will sit on top of it like this. This will be rotated 90 degrees. And then our shelf will run down the wall like that. We'll have probably like 3 or 4 more of these.
So the plan is to make all this on the countertop first, and then we'll assemble it up top. It's a lot easier than just trying to build it all up there. Once we assembled the frame for the top shelf, we put up a board for the shelf to rest on, just like we did for the base in the beginning. The angled support went up next, first with a single screw through the bottom of the board. Followed up by drilling a deeper hole through the center of the support. This allowed us to put a second longer screw to make it more stable. We then completed a similar process near the walls to attach horizontal pieces of the shelf.
Okay, we got this guy mounted up there. We put a piece of plywood on the top. It is 20 inches deep. One mistake we made is that we cut our plywood. Well, we were using the plywood we had, and we ended up having a seam that wasn't supported on one side. If you can.
So here's that seam Nick was talking about. We're gonna throw in another board just right next to it, just to support both of them. But everything else is good. We're hitting studs on the back, so that's why the boards ended up where they are.
Yeah, I don't know. We kind of threw this together, so I think it's gonna work. I think it's gonna hold everything that we want to. So we got some speakers put up there, all kinds of stuff. I think it looks pretty good. You think so? No. Shit. Whew. That was hard.
Anyway, we got our little supports mounted up on the wall, and we're gonna throw in these little triangles underneath to add some support, because we're gonna throw the plywood on top, and then a nice little fascia board to finish it off. Should look good. Okay, so bottom shelf is on. We added a nice little fascia board on the side, cover it up, and that's about it. Last step is we're gonna mount a TV over there. We'll have a little workspace in our desk. But all in all, pretty happy with it.
Oh yeah. Now we got a place to put our stuff and do our work and build stuff.
Time to do some organizing. But catch us next video. Hope you guys like this one. More cool projects to come.
Like and subscribe if you like this content, and yeah, we'll be making some more.